What ho, everybody! I hope we got some people here watching this one, seeing as it's not model railway related. But never mind. I hope some of you are there. So we are going to build a model of the 1900 English mechanic, and what's in this box will start the project off. So what do we have in here? Well, we have a model bicycle which is about 1/10 scale. I think they call these finger bikes or something. Anyway, that's a 1/10 scale bicycle. And we also have this. This claims to be a 1/12 scale. It says classic car. 1/12 scale classic car. What it is a model of Benz number 1, the first automobile. So the plan is to take bits from the Benz and bits from the bike and make a model of the English mechanics. So this is going to be quite interesting. So, I mean, these are just cheap Chinese toys. There's about $30 in these, so there's not a lot of expenditure in this so far. These are not expensive toys. I'll have a look at the Benz first. So, right then, let's take a look at what we've got here with the Benz. What's going to be usable? So the wheels, of course. The wheels here are actually what's going to dictate the scale of the model, because I will refer to the drawing I have and the wheel sizes, and then decide scale that down to this wheel, and that will dictate the scale of the model. This is actually not a bad little model. It's quite reasonably, well, I say reasonably accurate, but there wasn't a lot to Benz number 1 anyway. And if you look in here, what is really cool is we actually have the single cylinder. This is a counterweight, and I believe you actually crank this counterweight to get the engine to turn over to start. And so you can see that in here, the crankshaft is actually the cylinder. The crankshaft and the cylinder is actually working. So we actually have a piston inside the engine here that would be inside the cylinder block there that would be working. So, and we have a drive chain. Well, this is like a Delrin band, an O-ring, and that transfers drive. You can see here, look, we've got everything is fairly free rotating. It just doesn't all free rotate together. So we've got a O-ring here, a large O-ring, driving down to this pulley here, and then that drop pulley drives along this short shaft to this other pulley which drives the wheel. And you can see if we turn the wheel, if we turn the wheel, you can see that all the bands and the counterweight here and the cylinder, it's all actually working. So that's pretty amazing that it all kind of sort of works. It'll bind once in a while, but it all kind of like works, which is really neat. So anyway, what we're going to take from this model is the engine, probably these wheels, and maybe the drive, these pulleys, and maybe I think that's the fuel tank. We doubt we'll be taking that because of the The English mechanic has a different sort of fuel tanks. But reading the article in the English mechanic, it was suggested that if you didn't want to make your own parts, you could buy Benz parts. So we have a Benz engine, so we can put a Benz engine in my English mechanic and it would be totally prototypical. So this box, the bicycle box, the plan is to use the wheels, because the wheels on the English mechanic, the front wheels on the English mechanic are smaller than the rear wheels, and so these are actually a little smaller. The bike wheels are actually a little smaller than the Benz wheels, and I would also would like to remove the tires off these wheels if I can, and then add a solid model a solid tire, because the English mechanic that I'm modeling has solid rubber tires. Well, tire, it's more like a thick rubber band that runs around the wheels. So that's the plan for that. Hopefully that'll work. I'm going to take a closer look at these and see what I can do with them. So, and I'm just looking here. I'm just looking here at this bike here. It has like a rubber chain in here. So I'm wondering if I can get hold of something like this rubber chain and use it on the IMCO loader. See, we're getting crossover already. If you're not watching this because it's not model railways, then you're probably missing something. Anyway, here we are then, everybody. I have dismantled the bends, and here are the pieces that I'm going to use. I have two wheels. I have the seat, which we will very probably use. Can't be sure, 100% sure on that one right now. We have the motor, so the engine, which we'll be using. Don't know whether we will actually see it because it will be in the under the bodywork. So we have this. I think this is the exhaust system. I'm not sure. It could be the fuel tank. I'm not too sure, because maybe that's the fuel tank on top of the motor, on top of the engine there. So don't know, but we might use it. There's a couple of wheel hubs here. There is the axle. Don't know if I'll use the axle or not. Then we have a couple of Delrin O-rings that might be usable. There's the brake lever, could be used. There is the flywheel. I'm not sure about using that, but we'll keep it aside anyway. And then there are a couple of pulleys here which might get used, I don't know. So we've got a lot of very usable parts for the car there. So after that, the next step was to take a look at all the drawings in the magazine article and come up with some working drawings. I started here with this one, which is just a basic general arrangement, and scaled it up to fit the wheel. So we now have a size at the locomotive, we've still got trains on the brain, I'm afraid, even though we're working on cars. So the model will be this long, which will be in the region of 8 inches, 200 millimeters. So we came up with this first drawing, and then I went through all the other other drawings in the articles. There's a general layout of how everything fits together here in this one. And then this is an extremely useful one. This is the frame, the chassis frame of the car. And then there's this one which gives some framing details of the bodywork. They've all been scaled up so they are all the same size. And there's actually a scale on this drawing here. So we are at about 25 millimeters to the foot. So that's about what the scale is. And then next, once I'd got all these drawings sorted, I could then make a trip to the hobby shop and buy the strip wood for the frames, chassis, and the bodywork. So I can now make the chassis and body frames. So we will just be cutting those to size, and we'll be using the technique beloved of aero modelers, and that is we will be cutting the pieces of wood to the right size and then just gluing them together. Remember how, I mean, maybe some of you built wooden aircraft and you got shape formers for the shape of the wing, and you would cover those with like tissue paper, and then you would like dope. I think you doped the tissue paper to like tighten it. But so yeah, basically we're using an aero modeler's technique there for building fuselages and wings of aircraft. So that's what we will be doing with this. We will be copying the old aero modelers method. So I'll get on with that and report back when we're finished. There we are, after one day's work. That is the body and the frame, the chassis if you want to call it that, of the English Mechanic, all built out of basswood and all built using the good old tried and tested aero modelers method of just pinning the pieces of wood on top of the drawing in the right place. And it looks pretty good. Pretty pleased with the way that work finished, and it is incredibly strong and rigid. It's only been glued with Titebond original wood glue, and it all holds together really rigidly. So really impressed with the way that works. Here it is, mocked up. I'll put the floorboards in on the in front of the seat area, pop the Benz seat in there just to get a little bit of an idea what it's like, and it looks like it would be a little bit small, so maybe another seat is required, though in the article in the English Mechanic the designer said you could basically sit on a cushion, so safety was a bit different in those days. And you can see that I also have the engine mocked up in place underneath. So really impressed with the way it's looking. We've just got to start making the springs, and then we can put the axles in and the wheels, and it'll really start to look like a car. But I think this is the last time that you will be seeing it, because response on the video blog chat has been next to nothing about this this project, so you obviously don't want to know about it. So probably I'll just work on it in the background, and if you're interested, I'll show you it when it's finished. But I guess you want me to talk model railways here, so if you can come up with some ideas of what you'd like me to talk about and discuss on this video blog chat, drop me a line in the comments, message me, just let me know what I should be doing. So I'm really pleased with what I've got here, but like I say, if you're not interested, that's not what you want to watch, so that's perfectly fine with me. So we'll talk to you again in another week.